Is there a fear event looming on our horizon? Is there something coming into our collective field that's going to be another 2020? Something's going on in the world that we all need to run and hide from. Is there another fear event coming? That's the first question. And the second question is, who is controlling our timeline? Who exactly is in control here? Because there's two very dominant forces in our timeline, except the one wants domination and the other one operates from dominion. So we're going to talk about how differently these two energies are playing it right now, what they're doing. So that's going to help you to understand your world, what's going on for you. Because the problem is so many people are walking around going, when is it going to get better? But if you understand the bigger picture and you go, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. This is something playing out right now. This is something coming to conclusion. And what? I have a role to play. I have a part in all of this because every single person with a heartbeat does. Every single person has influence. And of course, how they use that influence and what they're affiliated to. That determines who's in control of the timeline. So, who is in control of the timeline? There are two very dominant energies right now. The one that seeks domination is the controllers, the old controllers of the old false matrix. Why do I call it the old false matrix? Because in 2012, we had a massive event. The galactic stepped in and they began to clear the skies. That's a good way for me to describe this. They began to clear the broadcast signal of the false matrix, allowing for humanity on the surface to have a fighting chance, to have the ability to connect to their lost, forgotten selves, to pick up the impulse of their soul, which they'd lost connection to, lost touch with. That began a ripple on the planet of spiritual awakenings. That was a collective event that started in 2012 and carries on today, ongoing. See, we expect, when I talk about something's just happened, guys, something's just happened. Imagine if I brought you that information in 2012 and I said, okay, skies have been cleaned up, mass awakenings are happening. You guys may have thought mistakenly, oh, so it'll be done, what, next week sometime? Look where we are. We're in 2024. It's still rippling. It's still ongoing because a spiritual awakening is something that accelerates and accumulates and builds over time, creating quantum effects. That's what we're seeing when we look at the second energy that's now stepped into the timeline, which is the collective soul of the collective of the light workers of planet Earth. That used to be the seat that the galactics held. Who are the galactics? They are a group of beings, 5D, 6D, 7D, highly evolved, highly benevolent, highly loving beings who have been representing humanity when humanity couldn't represent themselves, but always knew that the time would come for them to joyfully step aside so that humanity could resume their rightful place. I get these crazy comments, guys. You know, I get a lot of them. But in my comment section, I get people asking me about I don't even know anymore, the Allied Union of Worlds, the Galactic Federation of Worlds. There are so many names. Drop the damn names and understand how infiltrated spirituality has been, and just let yourself go with, instead of a big label and a big title, just let yourself go with, okay, there were a group of beings showing up for humanity when humanity couldn't show up for themselves. So they were representing our light. The ones who are the other force on the planet vying for domination, of course, are the darkness. Collectively, you might call them the elites, you might call them the 1%, the once controllers of the false matrix, those guys. They have technology, and their technology allows them to read the timeline. That's what the timeline wars. I released a video about that. I'll link it in the video description. The timeline wars revolved around their ability to use the technologies and to harness the technologies that allow them to peek into the future of the timeline and to see its trajectory based on the influence of the higher vibrational beings on the timeline, because the higher vibrational beings on the timeline begin to steer the timeline. What happens is they begin to pick it up, they begin to put higher frequency into the timeline, and that causes ripple events that the controllers of the false matrix may or may not have wanted to happen. When it was something that they didn't want to happen, they inserted a fear event into the timeline, because you know this. What does fear do? I'm in fear. Take it away. Make it stop. It makes a person go into resistance. It makes them go into shutdown, fight, flight, adrenalized, survival-based. The plummeting, not just the lowering of frequency, the plummeting of frequency ensues. So that's their tactic. They have technological abilities beyond the scope of even a quantum computer. They have abilities to see into where we're going. Now, who are we? We are the light workers. And why are we such a threat? Because we are the anomaly that cannot be predicted, because light cannot be calculated. It's quantum. So we as the light workers have no idea. And I guarantee you this to be true. I don't normally put my head on a block with facts like that, but I guarantee this to be true. We do not understand how powerful we are as a collective of light workers. What we're doing by being the anomaly that cannot be calculated, cannot be predicted, is we're growing, each one of us, focusing on ourselves as we should be. The moment you get saviors coming in, the whole damn thing derails. The moment you get saviors, they actually don't derail the timeline. They derail their own personal ascension, because now they're trying to save everybody else. Just save yourself. Just be your own savior. That's what a light worker is meant to be doing right now, casting their gaze inward. I have an online community called the Plasma Light Tribe. Join if you feel called to. If you don't feel called to, that's okay. I put these videos up for free for you to gain the information, to gain the inside scoop, to do with this information what you see the most beneficial for you. I just want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that if you put out your hand and you need a deeper level of support, you've got it. Plasma Light Tribe, KiriK.com, that's where you got to join. The ones who were controlling the timeline used their technologies, and to their dismay, their technologies could no longer predict the quantum of the light workers, because the light workers started to embody their light. Of all things, we began to actually embody. The moment we stopped analyzing and thinking and teaching from the head and actually getting into the authenticity of being, the vulnerability of our presence, things started to shift, and so they lost control of the timeline. Day by day, slow process, that's been happening. But instead of this happening and creating two different timelines, all timelines converge into one space as we narrow into this little, the eye of the needle, the space before ascension, which is where we are right now. People hear me say this, and you know what they hear? A lot of people, I'm not saying this, but a lot of people hear me say, oh, Keri says ascension is going to happen tomorrow. No, I'm saying this has been going on since 2012, the awakening, the preparation for where we are right now. The next leg of the journey is now upon us, wherein we, the quantum anomaly that cannot be calculated, we, the light workers, we have no game plan, which is why we can't be predicted, which is exactly how it's meant to be. The only thing that can really derail us as the individuals is if we as individuals step into fear, survival, etc. To keep yourself primed to your optimal state of being right now is the most imperative. You've got to do it like it's your full-time job, the most imperative thing that you can do, because what they, the dark controllers, can see is, damn it, these festering light workers and their clever ways, they are running away with the timeline. The timeline's gone crystalline. That's a massive turning point for us. When the timeline went crystalline, they realized, okay, we've got another problem on our hands. What's going to happen now is we've got too many people ascending. And because we've got too many people ascending, that means we don't have a population, because this is what they were banking on. That means we don't have a population to splinter off and take into another false matrix. And I've always said this to you guys. There will be no other false matrix beyond this one. We're not just collapsing the false matrix for our little timeline. We are collapsing the false matrix for all, and we are collapsing the false matrix throughout the galaxy. And that's why all the galactics are involved in what we're doing right now. Because if this was just about one little old planet or a couple of people on one little old planet, it wouldn't be the big event that it is. This is massive. We have more people, and I've shared this with you guys before, but in case you haven't remembered or seen the video, take this in. We have more galactics supporting us right now, surrounding us with support right now, than we have human beings on the planet. Just let that one sink in. Just let that one ripple into your being. It's so important to let go of old doctrines, old beliefs, old habitual ways, things that somebody else taught you that may or may not be true. This is the time for you to go really deeply into the unknown, to go, who am I? What do I feel? What am I tuning into? Forget how other people have told me. Forget the rules. Forget the dictatorships of how other people told me to be spiritual, and let me understand what spirituality actually is. You could say this to yourself. Let me understand what spirituality actually is. Oh yeah, it is simply my ability to be authentic and to show up naked to the moment so that I can feel the moment for where it is and what it is and how it is, and not impose on the moment what I think it should be. In other words, not tell reality what to be, but allow reality to be as it is. Because then I shift into the role of the alchemist. I've got an amazing 4-week theme that I ran on alchemy. It's part of the Plasma Light Tribe teachings. These 4 calls, these 4 masterclasses on you as the alchemist and how you bring yourself back online as the alchemist were absolutely, fundamentally life-changing, because it was reintroducing to humanity what was lost in the false matrix. But damn, those old controllers, they're trying to get their grip back. They're trying to get control back. So what would that look like? They're making it up just like we are, right? We have no game plan. Remember that we are literally day by day evolving ourselves and therefore the timeline. And the beauty of that is we keep rippling, we keep being the ripple, we keep going further, faster, deeper, more. And all they can really do is almost run to catch up, to insert fear where needed and where necessary. So this very much, the plan for them is malleable, but there's a couple, let me tell you what they are. We could have invasions from the sky. In other words, we could have on-planet beings posing as off-planet beings. And here's the problem. What would humanity do if they believed that they were a race of off-planet beings, in other words, from another star system, that have come to help them? What's humanity going to do? They're going to go into subservience. They're going to go into, oh, you wise souls, come rescue us. Watch the video that I put up about Atlantis and why Atlantis fell. I think it's called The Thing I Never Told You About Atlantis, something along those lines. I got 2 videos on Atlantis, and I discuss it in that second video. Atlantis fell right at the end because of this exact thing, because beings came in and posed as the salvation. So that's one possibility of derailing ascension. Now, another possibility is we could have some kind of I'm not feeling too well kind of event happening on the planet. That's a possibility. Will humanity fall for it? A second time, we'll see what happens with that. That's totally up to the individual. See, that's why I said we will see how this goes. Another very big probability is imposing fear upon humanity based on the state of the planet. Causing or calling crisis for the state of the planet, which of course a lot of people are going to buy into. I got to remember that, pull yourself back, Carrie, pull yourself back. Got to remember where I am right now. I'm on social media, so that's what I'm going to give you. Those are the 3 strong possibilities right now, but remember that they can change their game plan just like we can. The bottom line is fear event. Right? You know the tactics. They're not rocket science, but you know the tactics of what a fear event would look like. It could be direct and outward fear, or it could be people buying into subservience in some way to a higher authority. That's ultimately what they're looking for, is for humanity to give up the sovereignty, to give up their empowerment. The light workers are empowered, whereas the old controllers want to overpower. They want to dominate. So simply recognize, do I have relationships in my life right now where I'm not empowered, where I've got a dominator? Okay, because I need to fix those. If I can see those in my life, you need to say to yourself, if I can see those relationships in my life, I need to correct the power balance. Why? Because we're working at the individual level here. We're working at the individual level. We've got to deconstruct the false matrix from within. And if you don't, if you're in your power balance and you are operating in the flow of your own divine power, then flow with that divine power more and ripple it more and shine, baby, shine. Because right now you're the lighthouse then for other people to catch a blaze from and be inspired by, and simply to know, wow, this exists. There are people on planet Earth right now holding this level of empowerment. Whoa, baby. When is the good question, isn't it? If there were a fear event, when the heck would it be? I've never made predictions about time. I encourage you to run away from anybody who predicts time, because from 2012, we started living in the now. The moment that happens, you're not living in the past, you're not living in the future. The reality of the now becomes very, truly unpredictable. That's why I never give you a date for ascension, and I will never give you a date for ascension, because the truth is you have to be in the unknown. You have to be in the unpredictability. So I'm giving you this kind of background as to why I'm not giving you a time and a date. I'm only telling you it's very likely to happen 2024, which is where we are right now. It's very likely to happen. My sense is, and I know that this could change, my sense is though it would be closer to 2025. And I'm talking, so we would amp up to it, right? You'll feel it building in the background of 2024, but you may see it only just rear its head in 2025. But remember, they're chasing, we're leading, they're chasing. If you understand that, if you remember that, this is going to land better with you. Okay, we the light workers are the anomaly that cannot be predicted. And because we're the anomaly that cannot be predicted, they're chasing our light. Darkness is chasing our light, trying to scare it off, trying to run it down, shut it down. But they're continually tailoring their plans to meet where we are. What's humanity going to fall for, basically, becomes the big question. So understanding that, don't fall into fear. But it's very easy, isn't it? If you were in, okay, here's my example I'm going to give you. If you were in the ocean and it's pitch dark and you felt something bump up against your leg, eek, and I said to you, don't fear. Fear is for ninnies. Fear is for the weak. Don't go into fear. You're going to say, Carrie, bugger you. What are you talking about, baby? I just had something very big and it's very dark in this very dark ocean and I don't know what it was. So it's very difficult when something's happened to say, don't go into fear now. So instead, remain in love. I'm not saying don't go into fear. I'm saying remain in love, remain in power, remain in light. And for some of you, that's going to require you to get in power, get in love, get in light first. Then do that. The preparation is utterly essential. Do it now. Prepare so that, not so that you can tell your friends, don't fear, don't fear, don't fear. Be the love, be the love, be the light, be the light. I'm the broadcaster. I'm the loudspeaker. I'm telling you what to do. Don't be that person. Nobody likes a know-it-all. Be the example. The know-it-alls are having less and less power. The teachers who are standing on pedestals telling other people how to be, who to be, where to be, why to be, are not gaining traction anymore. The teachers who are being heard are the teachers who are being the example. And I want you to be that. Be the example. That's the true power on the planet right now. We've rippled, we've changed, we've evolved, we've done so much. We, the light workers, every day, every day, every day, as a collective, we are leading the timeline higher and higher. We've worked so incredibly hard to get here. And those little old controllers, they're in a very weakened position. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to strike with a fear tactic. In fact, the fear tactic is because they're in a very weakened position. Oh, and I never mentioned the other possibility. I mentioned 3 possibilities of fear tactics. Of course, a 4th one is the fighting between countries. Some kind of global war, some kind of global tussle for power. That's, and it's always going to be about putting someone down, isn't it? It's like there's this mentality on the planet in the false matrix that says, if I put you down, I stand taller. It's not how it works in the organic natural universe, but it is how it works in the false matrix. Therefore, people love to buy into the bully tactics of putting someone down. Lift yourself up. If you see that injustice happening, lift yourself up. This is how we change the world, by being the change. I'm going to pin the video for you up here, which is Timeline Wars, and I will link in the description box below a couple of others that are going to give you great background if you want to do a little bit more digging into what I'm talking about here. Lots of love. Do you feel it? From my heart. From deep within my heart. From deep within a very raw and real space within my heart. I send you so much love, and I'm not just sending it to you. If you'll let yourself feel it, I'm holding you in that love. Because I know that we're holding each other's hands as we walk each other home. Speak to you really soon. Bye-bye for now.